That introduction alone was way funnier than anything I'm about to say. Hi everyone, my name is Marshall Ziegler, and I have a pretty weird family. And those of you out in the audience, you may be thinking, well, Marshall, my family's pretty weird too, and I'm maybe. But I raise you this. I'm the most normal person in my family, and I'm probably the weirdest person you'll ever meet. Case in point, I decided an ink blot test was a good aesthetic for the show tonight. I'm also one of 6 people on this planet that like black licorice. When I say I like black licorice, I kind of hesitate because there's nobody who really likes black licorice. There's people who eat black licorice and there's people who have self-control. Because the first time I ate black licorice, I hated it. I thought it was the most disgusting thing I've ever had. But when you eat it, it leaves something in your brain that constantly whispers, hey, you know that sugar-flavored tar you ate that one time? You should eat some more of that. And it came to this point where I was in a gas station, and I was walking down the aisle, I looked at a bag full of black licorice, and I said to myself, I should buy some of that. And then I stopped. I looked inward, I looked into my soul, and I said, Marshall, you just legitimately considered buying a bag of black licorice. Maybe you like black licorice. And I replied to myself, no, there's no way I like black licorice. That stuff is nasty. So I bought the bag, ate the whole thing. There was a bag this big, not from the floor. Ate the whole thing in under 10 minutes. So yeah, that was my moment of realization. And I'm the normal one, right? My father acts entirely on impulse. He joined the Marines because he wanted to know if he could. My dad takes us on trips to do chores across town, right? These things should not take more than 10 minutes. We'll be gone for 3 hours. We went to get ice cream once. We came back with a carton of light bulbs, 2 HDMI cables, and a boat. All 3 of which were purchased from various stores. And the best part about it is we don't know where we're going, because Dad doesn't know where he's going. It's all the excitement of being kidnapped with none of the danger. And my mother is equally weird, but in an opposite way. She's too structured. My mom has to have everything planned to a T. So, obviously, this leads to some interesting compromises where we have family plans that are structured, but not so structured that we can't improvise, but not so improvisational that we can't know what we're doing, but not so planned out that we can't just do something on the spot, and it drives me crazy. Then there's my brother, my darling younger brother Derek. He was born on early Halloween morning, and it shows. He's a sweet boy with a devil's heart. He came out, and the doctor said his pupils are black. And my parents said, oh, that's pretty normal. And then the doctor said, well, the rest of his eyes are also black. My parents said, less normal. My brother once looked me up and down, stared at me for a solid second, and punched me in the arm. And granted, we were both pretty young at the time, so it wasn't really that hard, but it hurt on an emotional level. So I turned to my brother and I said, hey, why'd you do that? And he said, because I felt like it. You have any idea the power those words hold, the weight they put on you as a 6-year-old? One thing all my family shares, except for myself, of course, is a lack of navigational skills. Zieglers get lost in places that we have no business being lost in. Example, we went to New York a few summers ago as a family trip. And if you've ever been to New York's a very simple city to navigate. It's built on a grid system. And I was like, hey, my parents both have degrees in math. My dad's a math major, my mom's a math minor. We should be able to navigate no problem. I was wrong. My parents got lost in New York City, a city based on math. So they kept yelling at me too, because like, Marshall, you've never been to New York. I'm like, yeah, you're right, but I know how grids work. I was so upset that for the rest of that trip, I walked 5 feet behind my parents. I ate a big bag of black licorice. Thank you. I've been Marshall Ziegler. The next person we have is a very talented boy by the name of Cameron Miller.